Hi, my name is Dr. Patricia White. I'm a deep transformations and clarity coach, and I am just thrilled to be able to share with you this new modality called positive intelligence. As we navigate unique challenges and triumphs on our path to success, we often face the daunting pressure of systemic barriers, biases, and the challenge of showing up in these spaces authentically, no matter who we are. What if you could learn to navigate these paths with focus, with calm, and ease? Positive intelligence equips you with the tools and mindset to conquer self doubt, navigate workplace biases, and create your own narrative of success by retraining your brain through a process called mental fitness. Imagine a world where you step into each day with unshakable clarity, confidence, grace, and purpose. Positive intelligence offers strategies to reframe self limiting beliefs, manage stress, and cultivate the unwavering self assurance needed to excel as professionals and as leaders. So it is my pleasure to share with you this framework called positive intelligence. And I call this talk From Stress to Success, Developing Inner Resilience Through Positive Intelligence. I got exposed to positive intelligence quite some years ago uh, as part of coach training, and I was a bit skeptical about it, honestly. Didn't know what it was about, and just gave myself permission to go ahead and uh, try it out and see what it was like. So, positive intelligence is a way for you to develop a strategy for developing clarity, alignment, and mental fitness. It shows our brain over time has been wired to respond to stress and adversity with survival mode behaviors. And this survival mode behavior is a default response. It's called the saboteur response in positive intelligence. It teaches tools for developing mental fitness and resilience that is then puts you in position to boost your performance and improve your well-being. And that leads to strengthening relationships. And this is called the sage response. So basically, we're shifting from a saboteur response to a sage response. And the analogy is that it's like going to the gym. The strategy strengthens our positive mental muscles while weakening our negative mental muscles through the tools that you learn in this modality. So, mental fitness is awareness. And as I said, the positive intelligence modality is a way of training your brain. You begin to recognize the unconscious subroutines that are always going on in your head and learn how to interrupt them so that you can choose a response that is more supportive uh, of your values. Just as you go to the gym to strengthen your physical muscles, mental fitness helps you develop mental muscles. And the mental fitness is a term that describes the ability to thrive and be resilient in the face of day to day challenges. And I think that's the key. This isn't some fancy smancy thing, it is really just tiny little exercises that you learn that you can use anywhere you are, whether you're driving in the car, getting ready to go to sleep, waking up early in the morning. These are tools that you can use anytime, anywhere, whenever you need it. So, right now, I'm going to invite you to do a little exercise with me so that you can experience just a little bit of what positive intelligence or the PQ framework is like. So, close your eyes and take a really deep breath and feel how that feels in your body. Now, take another deep breath. And maybe you feel your body begin to relax. And now I want you to take your thumb and index finger and rub the tips together gently, but with such attention and focus that you begin to feel the ridges on the tips of your fingers. And just take in that sensation. And now I invite you to take the tips of the fingers of one hand and gently draw those tips down the fingers and the palm of the other hand. Slowly, and take in all the different sensations of touch. Bringing your fingers down to your wrist and noticing how those different sensations feel, and then switching over to the other hand, tips of fingers against tips of fingers, and drawing those tips of your fingers down across your fingers and your palms of the other hand, taking in all the sensations of touch. Now just breathe and notice any shifts in your body from when we started with the touch of the finger and thumb to now. And when you're ready, open your eyes. So that is one PQ rep, one PQ exercise. And you may notice, I don't want to tell you what you experienced, but some people experience that they're calmer, more centered, less scattered after that exercise. And what you learn in the PQ training are a series of exercises that help you make those kinds of adjustments when challenges come up. So let's talk about stress. Our thoughts and responses to challenges are based on how our brains are programmed by past experiences and lessons, right? And we are hardwired to avoid pain. Our brains are hardwired to avoid pain. So that pain may be mental, emotional, physical, but we avoid pain at all costs, either consciously or subconsciously, and to take the easiest path to safety. So regardless of what your intentions are, if we're hardwired for safety, then chances are, depending on what our training and our exposure and our lived experiences are, we're going to choose the easiest path to safety. We behave in particular ways during stress and confrontation to stay safe. So with these mental and emotional thought processes running in the background, it's easy to see that we may unconsciously hijack our well-being in the interest of safety. And everyone has these subroutines running all the time. The purpose of positive intelligence is to help you be able to recognize when those are happening and to change it. So how do you know when you've been hijacked? Well, it's by the way you feel. It's your emotions. Our feelings are our internal guidance system. And so things like anger, frustration, jealousy, sadness, shame, those are signals that essentially tell us that we've been hijacked, that there is a belief or a thought that something is happening that's putting us in harm. It's like the danger Will Robinson, for those of you who remember Lost in Space, we have those danger signals that come up that tell us that we need to get to safety. And those signals, those emotions are called saboteurs within the positive intelligence framework. So how do we avoid them? Well, the best tools to avoid self-sabotage and mental hijacking during periods of stress include clarity, knowing what's important, being aligned with your values and your passion and purpose. As long as you know what that is, then it's easy to stay on the straight and narrow. And finally, self-awareness. And part of self-awareness is mental fitness. Positive intelligence is the framework that's based on research by a gentleman by the name of Shazad Shamain. And this work is a process by which we have the work that was done synthesizes discoveries across several forms of psychology, including positive psychology, performance science, neuroscience, and cognitive behavioral psychology to come up with the positive intelligence framework. Mm-hmm. Well, how does it work? Basically, the voices in our head might be said to be misguided or obsolete programming that are always running in the background. So these old programs, they served a purpose once upon a time. They really aren't necessary most of the time anymore, but the grooves have been run deep in our brain, and that is the automatic process or direction that we pursue when we're stressed. So the positive intelligence framework helps us overwrite some of these programs, and allows us to come up with conscious, empowered thoughts that allow us to make different choices. The PQ framework provides us with mental exercises that help us over time begin to create new neural paths. You know you're in the right place because you feel better, that the negative emotions go away, and what you have instead is calm, centered, and objective feelings with a purpose and a direction. So there are 10 saboteurs and 5 sage powers that you'll learn about in PQ, and they motivate the brain differently. The saboteurs are motivated by negative emotions, and the sage powers are motivated by positive emotions. But the main saboteur is the judge, and we all have the judge. So there's the judge, and there are 9 other smaller saboteurs. I call them the minions, that really direct all of this process. The judge judges ourselves. The judge is responsible for how we feel about ourselves, about others, and about situations. And we judge situations, we judge other people, and we judge ourselves. This is housed in the left brain in the limbic system, and it's part of the survival mode. The other saboteurs function differently, and everybody has the judge, and the judge is the number one saboteur. But the other ones are lesser but just as active saboteurs, and they're based on our personality and our conditioning. And when you take the PQ test, you get rated on these 9 different saboteurs, from ones that are most active to the ones that are least active. And when you participate in the program, then you get to work on lessening the impact of some of these saboteurs. So some of the saboteurs are things like the controller, the stickler, the pleaser, the victim. And you may have heard of these types of saboteurs in other modalities. But again, the difference is in positive intelligence is that you learn tools to try to tamp them down and elevate your positive sage qualities. So the sage qualities live in the right brain, and they're associated with positive emotions such as empathy, peace and calm, clear level-headed focus. And the sage thought is that with everything, every circumstance, there is actually a gift and an opportunity. And some folks say, wait a minute, how is that possible? There's some things that can happen that there can't possibly be a gift associated with. And yes, we do have tragic experiences in our lives, but depending on our framework and depending on how we process that event, we can eventually get to a place where we can recognize a gift or an opportunity. An example of that would be the Black Lives Matter movement or the Me Too movement, where negative activities have resulted in positive effects, a massive movement toward a positive effects. Or Mothers Against Drunk Driving started with a mother losing a child to a drunk driver, but she turned that into a massive international movement against driving while drunk, and laws were passed because of that. So even with some of the most tragic situations, there's the potential with the right frame of mind to find the gift, to find the opportunity to make things better. And this is what the sage part of the brain is for, is to find that gift or opportunity. So sage powers are things like empathy, exploration, being innovative, getting into action to get things done. Those are all sage powers. So one of the questions that someone might ask is, well, aren't negative emotions good for you? And if we look at emotions as being a signal to let us know that something is out of balance, then negative emotions potentially could be good for you. Just as the pain that you feel when you hit a hot stove informs you that you need to move away from that heat before you do damage to yourself. So to the degree that that pain informs you that something is not right and gives you the impetus to move away, that negative emotions can signal that something is out of balance and that you need to do something to correct that thing that is out of balance. So negative emotions are helpful as an alert signal, but staying in that negative emotion hurts our ability to see clearly and respond in a positive way. And so that's why negative emotions are saboteurs. So another question that might be asked is, well, what perspective is true? That this is bad or that this situation is a gift? And the answer is whichever you believe is true. So one of the things I want to share with you is an example. And this was a family member who was taking a professional exam. And the first time he took the exam, he failed it. And he was really tense about taking it again because of the fear and the being upset about the first time and being afraid that he would screw up again and all of the things that come from the stress of taking something with that much meaning. And so before the time that he took the test the second time, we went through some of the positive intelligence exercises. And I gave him a couple of exercises to do before he went in to take the test to bring him down from that level of sheer panic to a level of, I've got this and I can do this. And it took conscious awareness that he was moving into that panic mode and that was not where he wanted to be and that he knew that was not where he functioned at his best, and to shift his thought process to one of, I know this material, I know this material, I know I can pass it, and I'm just going to breathe, I'm just going to take my time, I'm not going to let the voices in my head take over. And he did that through a series of practices before he went in to take the exam. And he said that when he took the exam the second time, there was less anxiety and less panic. And every time he started to go in the direction of panic, he brought himself back to center to say, this is important to me. I know I can do this. I know the material. I just need to do it. And the second time, he passed the test. Now, how much the positive intelligence framework helped him is anybody's guess. He felt that it really positively impacted his ability to take and pass the test the second time. So is it really possible to just shift from saboteur to sage response, even in tough challenges? And I offer you that this is an example of, yes, it did help. And it's not black and white. There is no magic wand that you wave that makes you go from not being able to do it to suddenly being able to do it. It's practice. And so I want to emphasize, if you enroll in the positive intelligence training course, that the path to success is doing the exercises every day, 3 times a day for the period of time. It's only 2 minutes per session, but the repeat of the exercises is what helps develop a habit, and the habit becomes something that becomes second nature. Like physical exercise, it takes practice to build these mental muscles. So positive intelligence is an 8-week test or an 8-week course. And what's involved is that once a week you watch a video. Once a week, you get together in a group for about 30 to 45 minutes to go over what's being offered that week, to discuss any challenges or problems that you've had so far, to get support of the group, and to make sure you're on track. So it's really an accountability group. And then the most important are the daily practices. All of this is handled in an app that you'll be getting to download once you register for the course. Your test results get downloaded into the app so that the training is specifically geared toward your top saboteurs and what's important to you. So within the app, there's also a copy of the book. So if you would prefer to read it rather than listening to it, you can do it that way. And within the app, there's also an international community of people that are on the same path with you. And for me, I like to travel. I like meeting people. I like talking to people who have different experiences. So the PQ community was amazing to me to learn about people who were using the modality to apply it to different things that they were doing in their work, in their family, in the organizations that they volunteered with. It's just a really amazing modality that has lifestyle applications. And in the last week of the training, you get to learn how else you can apply it other than with personal relationships and work relationships. But the other thing that's really cool is that although this is an 8-week course, you have access to the app and the information in the app and the opportunity to practice and keep up with the work and continue your training for an additional year after the course is over. And I think that alone is amazing. This slide shows you an example of what your test scores will look like if you take the test. And anybody can take the test. Taking the test is free. You get a report after you've taken the test. And I invite people that after they've taken the test, if you want to hop on the phone and me go over your test results and answer questions, I'm happy to do that. You just need to make an appointment on my calendar and let me know that that's what you want to do. But for this particular person, the controller, avoider, and hypervigilant, as well as the pleaser, saboteurs were his top saboteurs. And so within the PQ framework and training, we would work on the controller and the avoider during the course. Or you can pick which one you want to work with, but we usually suggest that you work with your top two saboteurs. So, a question that you may be asking is, how is PQ different? What is it going to do for you? Most of us want a life and work that is in flow, but struggle to find a sweet spot where we can be happy. Attempts to make positive change may fail because we stop at insight and don't build habits. So, the difference with PQ is that it teaches you how to build habits so that the things that you learn are sustained, that they don't go away. It teaches you how your thoughts and behaviors get in the way of making really good decisions and showing up in a very positive way, and then provides you with tools to change your behavior by interrupting the pattern, then retraining your thoughts and behaviors to something more positive. So you get a framework and a way of training, and then you get exercises to repeat over and over again until the training sets in and becomes more of a second nature type of thing. So it empowers you to choose the thoughts, behaviors, and actions that will actually lead to happiness and create a life that is in flow. I like this quote by the Dalai Lama because it really sort of sums up what PQ can possibly do for you. And I've sort of paraphrased it and pared it down a little bit. But by cultivating non-judgmental and compassionate self-awareness, we can create a space within ourselves where our suffering can be held with kindness and understanding. When we approach our pain with gentleness instead of harsh judgment, we can begin to heal and transform it, allowing for greater peace and well-being. And I think that's really lovely to think about, and even more amazing to be able to create it in your life as a real thing. And this is a real thing, in my opinion and in my experience. So when you come to PQ, you have an intention and you take action to change your behavior. And as you practice and become consistent with the practice becomes a habit. And after a time, that habit is simply who you are. And I think that and the Dalai Lama's quote is just a lovely thought to have and something that you can create in your own life. So I want to invite you to experience it for yourself. This is the website that you can go to, positiveintelligence.com /assessment to take the test and see what your own results are like. Once you get your results, if you want to email me a copy, you can send it to drpat@creatingpurpose.com and then grab 20 minutes on my calendar, and I'll be happy to go over those results and help you understand what the results mean if you want to. The other thing, though, is to decide if you actually want to enroll in the course. And I have cohorts that occur about every other month. And in each of those cohorts, I limit it to 5 seats because I want to be able to give everybody an opportunity to share, to ask questions, to be able to have challenges addressed. And so it's a intimate, small group. Everything that happens in the group stays in the group. But if you're interested, just reach out to me. You can email me. You can reach out to me, a DM on Facebook or something like that. But here's my email address. Email me and let's talk about it. see if it's right for you. There is a discount if you bring in an accountability partner. The second person gets a 50% off discount. And if you come in together, you can split the difference. So I think that it's an amazing um, opportunity to expand your growth and to be able to learn how to control your thoughts and to be able to have agency over how you show up. Um, in our pursuit of excellence in our careers, we often focus exclusively on developing our technical and professional skills to expand our professional networks and to build our leadership skills. But a critical area frequently overlooked is mental fitness, but it's key to our surviving and thriving in today's professional environment. So, PQ training is not just another self help program, it's a scientifically validated framework that enhances your mental fitness, enabling you to handle challenges daily with ease and grace. The training is investing in your ability to maintain peak performance, both personally and professionally, ensuring that you lead with resilience, clarity, and an empowered mindset. And so, with that said, if you have any questions, please, please, please reach out to me. I would love to have you in my next cohort. I know how much this stuff helps. I know how much it has helped me. I'll share one last story with you. I remember having a conversation with my mom, who's 93, and I am, the last sibling standing. So I'm the last one who's available to assist her as she navigates these final years of her life, however long that is. And she's stubborn. She's a strong-willed woman. She's my mom, and I get it. And there are days when I know that we're our communication is crossing. We are not communicating directly. And I remember one of those days when we were having one of those difficult conversations, and the temperature was starting to rise because we were just missing each other in the communication. And I stopped and I thought, how can I let her know that I hear her? So I moved into a mode of empathy and curiosity. And she said something, and my response was, instead of countering it, I said, "What I like about what you just said is," and I filled in the blank. And I watched the expression on her face just change, and she just lit up. And what I realized is I simply acknowledged that I heard her and that there was something that she said that I liked. I didn't say I like her idea. I said what I liked about what you said is, and one of the things that you learn in PQ is a way of communicating where you know that at least 10% of what the other person has said or done is positive, is something that you can sign on to. And so look for that 10% rather than pointing out the 90% that you disagree with. That 10% space is where you will be able to connect, and the connection is the most important piece in order to move whatever it is that you're trying to move forward. So with that, I'm going to stop. I appreciate your time. I hope that this talk was helpful to you in making a decision about whether you want to enroll. And if you want to enroll, just let me know. Just reach out. And with that, have a good day. Bye.